Good afternoon, financial algebra. We are going to work on 7.6. So this is discussing rentals, condos, and co-ops. So we're just going to jump right in and we'll go over the formulas we need as we go. So number one, on March 1st, Antonio purchased, and you can print these notes, by the way. They should be like print these notes and then do them next to the homework or pull it up on your iPad and look for, like, number one, compare it to a problem on your homework and do them the same way. All right, so here we go. Antonio purchased a new condominium. He pays a maintenance fee of $10.30. His monthly property taxes equal 13.5% of the monthly fee. How much does he pay for the whole year? So first, let's figure out how much he pays monthly. He pays I have to make it a decimal, 0.135 of 1,030, which equals 139.05 cents. In order to determine how much he pays for the year, I have to take the 139.05 and multiply it by 12 months because there are 12 months in the year. And that gives us a total of $1,668.60. Next, Sarah purchased a condominium at Tulip Meadows. She pays $31.96 in property taxes. So this is how much she pays each year. These taxes are taken out of her monthly maintenance fee of $14.80. What percentage of this monthly fee goes to property taxes? Well, they told me she pays $31.96.80 per year. I need to convert that to months. So I'm going to divide by 12. That gives me $266.40 per month. So then I need to figure out the percentage. So she pays $266.40. I'm going to divide that by her maintenance fee, and that's how you figure out the percent that the property taxes are. And so 266.40 divided by 1480 gave me 0.18, so 18%. Next, last year, 1/5 of the Fitzgerald's $800 monthly co-op maintenance fee went towards property taxes. How much property tax did they pay for the whole year? So here's their monthly fee. So 1/5 of their $800 monthly fee went to property taxes. So 1/5 times 800 is 160, and that's per month. So to find how much she paid per year, you would multiply by 12, and that gives me a total of $1,920 per year. Next, the C Cottage cooperative is owned by shareholders. The co-op has a total of 32,000 shares. Linda owns 480 shares. What percentage does she own? So Linda owns 480 shares, but there are a total of 32,000 shares. So you're going to divide, and I got 0.015. So she only owns 1.5% of that share. Number 5. Now we're going to start to get into percent. So all rents increase, but there's going to be an increase by 3.2%, and the security deposit is now equal to 60% of the new rent. So here's the old rent. Eddie's old rent was $1,600, right? But now we're going to add the 0.032% increase. So 0.032 times the old amount. So the old rent is $1,600. This is the increase. And so now we're going to get our new rent. So if you enter $1,600 plus 0.032 times 1,600, I got a new rent of $1,651.20. Okay. Now security deposit. So security deposit is 60%, so 0.60 times the rent. And so 0.60 times the 1651.20, I got a security deposit of $990.72 is the security deposit. Moving on to number 6. So this has to do with equity and sales price. So I'm going to break this down as much as I can. So first let's start with Ben bought a co-op for $120,000. He borrowed $90,000 from the bank. Now he wants to sell the co-op, but the market value has decreased to $80,000. His equity is $46.80. If he sells the co-op, he has to pay the mortgage off. How much will he make after he pays off the mortgage? So first, let's figure out how much he owes the bank. So he borrowed $90,000. That's here. He borrowed $90,000 from the bank. But right now, this is the amount he borrowed. His equity, I'm going to subtract the equity. The equity in the co-op is $46,800. Equity is how much you've put in. So I'm going to subtract that from the $90,000 that he borrowed. When you subtract, I get $43,200. So that's how much he owes the bank. Okay, so $43,200. Sorry, I'm not going to circle this. So to figure out how much he makes, I'm going to take the sales price and I'm going to subtract what he owes the bank, and that will get his profit. So the market value is now $80,000. I'm going to subtract what he owes the bank, and I get his profit of $36,800. Whoops, one extra zero. $36,800. All right, now moving on, the second part of this has to do with exponential increase or exponential decrease. So the book gives a formula for the amount of rent equals the initial amount times 1 plus the increase to the d minus 1. Now, I think a more simplified version of this is y equals the amount of rent, 1 plus our rate increase to the x minus 1. So, we'll go over what these parts mean. A would be the initial rent. R is the percent increase as a decimal. And x is the number of years. And so that is the one we are going to use to compute the following. So number 7, so I'm going to use that formula up above. Nick moved into an apartment in the city. He pays, $3,200 in rent per month, and the rent has increased 3% on average. So express this rent as an exponential function. So y equals 3,200, right? It's the initial rent. 1 plus my percent increase as a decimal. So 3% as a decimal is 0.03 to the x minus 1. That's the number of years minus the first year. Okay, so that's exponential. Part 2 is this would be a linear or constant increase. It's not an exponential. So suppose the rent had increased $100 per year. Well, that would be y equals 100 times each year plus the original amount. Determine the predicted rent 5 years using both equations. So I'm going to do the exponential, y equals 3,200 times 1 plus 0.03 to the x minus 1, and y equals 100 plus 3,200. And we'll see which one actually ends up coming out to be more, because they'd like us to check what is rent going to be in 5 years. So you can guess which one you think is going to be more, but I'm going to try this one. So y equals 3,200 times 1.03, and I'm going to plug in 5 minus 1, which is also 4. Okay, so I'm going to enter that. 1.03 is just 1 plus 0.03. Okay, so 3,200 times 1.03. To that, instead of 5 take away 1, I'm just going to put 4, because 5 take away 1 is 4. And so I end up with the rent being $36.01 and 63 cents. Okay, so that's with a 3% increase each year. Now let's see if a linear increase of $100 per month is the same. So I'm going to enter y equals 100 times 5, right, in 5 years, plus 3,200. That's 500 plus 3,200. So y equals $3,700. So if you compare the two, you'll notice that the steady increase of 100 per year costs them more. Moving on, we're going to do some linear exponential regression. So you will need your calculator, and you will need to use a Desmos. And in Desmos, you're going to hit the Add button, and you're going to select Build a Table. And we're going to enter the table. We're going to enter this for x1 and this for y1. And then we're going to do the following equation. y1 and then the squiggly line. And then I did a times 1. I guess you wouldn't need to. 1 plus r to the x1. Okay, so that is how we're going to do this. I know I didn't do minus 1. We don't need to in Desmos. So here we go. I'm going to open up Desmos. I'm going to delete what I had from before. Okay, so if you go into Desmos, you're going to hit the plus sign, and I'm going to select Table, and I'm going to enter this table. So for x, I'm going to enter 1 through 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I'm going to go back up here and enter the values for y, so 1680, 1700, 1750, 1790, 1825, 1855, 1885, 1920, 1965, 2000. Once you've entered the table in the next box, I'm going to enter my equation. So y, and then you have to hit the ABC button, and then you have to hit this A down score, and then 1. Go back up, hit ABC, find the squiggly line, and then I put A, and then go back, parentheses, 1 plus, hit ABC, R, close the parentheses, to the, and then I'm going to hit X subset 1. And notice all of this information will come up, and it'll give us our equation. And so I'm going to record these points. So I get y equals 1648. Whoops. And 1 plus 0.02 to the x. So according to this, what is the percent increase? Percent increase would be this part right here, which would be 2%. Using your equation, what will the rent be in 15 years? So y equals 1648 times 1 plus 0.02 to the 15th. So using our calculator, 1648 times 1 plus 0.02 to the 15th. And I get the rent will be $22.17.99, or you could put $22.18. Number 9. Beth moved into an apartment close to her job. She will pay $2,000 per month in rent. So y equals 2,000. 1 plus 2.5%, so 0.025, to the x minus 1. What can she expect the rent to be in the 10th year? So the reason we have minus 1 is it's every year after the first year, because 2,000 represents year 1. So 2,000, parentheses 1 point, I like to shorten it, to the 10 minus 1. So that would be 2,000 times 1.025 to the 9th. And if you enter that in your calculator, I got $2,497.73. All right, number 10 has to do with exponential depreciation. So because it is decreasing, oh, sorry, no, that's number 11. Number 10, monthly rent is modeled by this equation. So the rent, based on what, there's the rent. Here, this represents 1 plus 0.045, so that is the percent increase, which is 4.5%. It's just learning to be able to break down that equation. Last problem. So when we're talking about depreciation decreases. So our formula is now a times 1 minus r to the x power. Okay, so when we are increasing, it's plus. When we're decreasing or depreciation, it's minus. So she paid $185,000 times 1 minus 5% to the x, or per year. So based on what we have, when will it be worth $145,000? And so I'm just going to use my calculator to estimate 1 minus 0.5 to the x. So using my calculator, what number for x would I get for to get 145? So I'm going to 185 times 0.95 to the 6th. It says less than 1. Well, that is, but it's a little too less. So let's go back up here. What about 5th? Okay, so it'll be worth that in what about if I enter 4? Nope, it's more. So in 5 years. And I don't think it wants an exact value. Sorry, hold on, my computer. If it wanted an exact value, you would have to use logarithms, and I just think it would get a little complicated. So you can just use your, you can just guess and check. And that covers that section.